Fighting the Great Reset by leading the Great Resistance. Maverick News. The antivirus programs for your mind.
You won't have a choice. You'll be forced to do this. And when they digitize our currency, and I'm not talking about Bitcoin, I'm talking about government digital currency. And you have social credit scores and tracking and all these apps on our phones, maybe, even technology that allows them to track your biometrics because there's something injected into you, like a chip in your hand, which we've actually seen. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a real thing. They're experimenting with that. They'll be able to just turn your money on or off, and not just turn it on or off. They'll be able to control what you're allowed to buy or rent, as property rights are extinguished. You don't own a car anymore. You can order a car, have a car show up and give you a ride someplace, but you won't own it. You'll have to share. They've already talked about that at the World Economic Forum. They want people to give up their cars.
That's right.
Look how far along we are.
Get us to give up our cars for 25 years or more. The whole smart cities initiative, trying to make people take trains and mass transit, give up their cars, ride bikes, ride a scooter in the central business district instead of driving, all that stuff.
They want people as much as possible to move back into big cities,
right?
To live in shoebox apartments, little boxes,
that they paid, $3,000 a month for.
That's right.
For 400 square feet
that you'll never own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the elites live in their 50-room mansions, fly around the world on their jets.
On our dime.
Yep.
That's our dime.
And then tell us that we're using too much energy to heat our shoeboxes.
Get ready, Europe. You ready for those $5,000 electric bills? $1,000 heating bills this winter? Is Russia really worth it? Is getting Putin really worth it?
These people never think beyond step one. Everything they do, whether it's money printing or wind farms, they just think to step one. It's like, well, we have a problem with housing prices. Rent is too high. What are we going to do? Rent control. There, that's solved. Move on to the next thing. But they never say, but what happens after that?
Mm-hmm. There's always those who will game that system, and they do. Any place where there's rent control.
It's just, not to get into the rent control issue, but it's just they never think to the next step. It's like today I received a correspondence about a farmer who has who farms on land, a huge farm, but he has some sort of a partnership with I think it's John Deere tractors. And they told him that they want him to replace all of his tractors. It's a unique operating agreement, but they want him to replace all of his equipment with electric combines and electric tractors. Sounds great, right? But he messaged back and said, what am I supposed to do when I trade in all these combines, which are worth like $900,000, and I convert to electricity? How am I supposed to run these at harvest time around the clock? Where do I charge them when there's no charging facility anywhere near the fields that I have. How is this supposed to work? And how long is it going to take to charge these things if I can charge them? Because we have a limited amount of time to get the crops off. John Deere doesn't have an answer for any of that yet.
Of course not.
So they wanted
don't
him to
know.
replace, right? So I think it's next year or the year after they want him to convert everything to electric.
How's
And he
that
won't
going to work?
He won't be able to charge them. There's no
That's all he's
infrastructure there.
asking too is, okay, so how is this actually going to work in practice? Sounds good in theory, but
Yeah.
how does that really work?
Didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm. You know how many charging stations we would have to build to make America fully electric, to really get off fossil fuels? We don't have the money for that. Where's that going to come from?
We've talked about this over and over and over again. The other thing, the water issue. They talked in that video about crickets. It takes way less water to produce crickets than cows. That's a red herring. I don't even care about the water. Use as much water as you want. You know why?
We got plenty of it.
I won't tell you who she is, but there was a person that used to work for me. And she said to me one day, she was pretty lefty. She was a communist, is a communist. And she said, the conversation came around to environmentalism. And I talked about hydrogen. I said, hydrogen might not be a bad option because it's made from water. And she said, no, we can't do that because we might run out of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
There's a whole panic about that.
You can't run out of water. You can't. Today on planet Earth, there is exactly as much water on planet Earth today as there was when the Earth was created, to the drop, with the exception of any that has been taken into outer space and expelled from spacecraft. Other than that, there is exactly the same amount of water on planet Earth today as there ever was and there ever will be.
And the Earth is mostly water.
Because it's part of the ecosystem. And if you drink it, you pee it out, and then it gets recycled and separated through nature, and it comes back as water because it goes up into the clouds and it rains back down on the earth, and Mother Nature filters it all out, and it goes around and around in a big circle. It doesn't go away. Now, you can pollute it and you can ruin water sources, but even then, through evaporation and through nature, it comes back as water. So you could be drinking, here's a glass of water. The water that I'm about to drink may have previously been consumed by cavemen. Or maybe even dinosaurs. Indeed,
no doubt.
Suggest to you that it probably was.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is water? Hydrogen and oxygen. That's what it is. It doesn't go away, folks. So use as much as you like. Now, what's the real issue? It's about the ability to purify water, water treatment facilities. Has your government, because they control those facilities, have they lived up to their obligation, and have they maintained the infrastructure properly? Have they built enough water purification infrastructure to supply your municipality? If they're telling you to not water your lawn, it's because they don't have enough water treatment capacity. It's not because there isn't enough water in the Great Lakes or wherever you happen to live. Now, you might live in a place where water is in short supply, like maybe if you live in Nevada and you're living in the middle of the desert, it might be a little difficult to get water there. But overall on the planet, there's plenty. And where I live, which is right in the heart of the Great Lakes, we've got so much water, we don't know what to do with it all. In fact, there's so much, they've talked about exporting it, and they do.
It reminds me of that new episode of South Park. That's what that's all about. A lot of truth in South Park.
Yeah, well, the truth is, around here anyway, there's plenty of water, and I don't personally think it matters. If there isn't enough water, it's only because there isn't enough being purified. So then maybe the government needs to do a better job and build more water purification plants. And maybe they should be doing that on First Nations reserves as well, because they don't seem to be doing a very good job of that in Canada, since Justin Trudeau promised to do it, but never ever did. Cheers.
Be nice to get some clean drinking water in Flint, Michigan, too. Those folks have been waiting a very long time
Yeah.
for clean, safe water.
Lead-free, hopefully.
One of the most basic aspects of existing on planet Earth is a water supply that you can trust.
But it isn't that there
America
isn't
can't even
enough.
do the basics.
Right. It's just, it's about government doing a crappy job. That's what that is.
This is what we pay taxes for. And our
Right.
taxes are going up. I mean, after all the money we've printed and spent in the last 2.5 years, of course your taxes are going to go up, way up. That's why they're putting this IRS police force or IRS army into action. They mean to collect all that free stuff that Americans got over the last 2 years is not free. It's never really free.
What good is our damn government when they hire all these IRS agents, when they leave legislation in place even after they stopped using the Emergencies Act in Canada, so they can freeze bank accounts if they choose to. And in Canada, they're becoming more aggressive about taxation collection as well. What good is our damn government when they spend all of our money to build cricket farms, but can't give people enough water or clean, safe drinking water? Are they doing their jobs properly? What does it say? What does it say about the way they view us? They hate us. They don't care about us. Yeah.
Make no mistake. Government is not your friend.
No, they're not. No. We have to stop looking to government for our solutions. Government is the damn problem.
A corrupt government is.
Yes.
Now,
that's right.
I'm not anti-government.
Right.
I'm anti-corrupt, ineffective government.
That's a very important point. Yeah.
I like a good small government, like most libertarians. So small you could fit it on a postage stamp. Really small.
Yeah. We need government. We do need it because we need order and we need laws. We need the rule of law. We need some government so that we have a civil society. What we don't need is overreaching government.
We don't need a police state, for one thing. I mean, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and yes, the IRS should all be abolished. There's nothing in the Constitution specifically authorizing any of those agencies. They really don't have a reason to exist. They have to keep finding ways to justify their budget and their existence. But this country would run a whole lot better and we'd have a whole lot more money in the treasury if we just abolished those 4 agencies.
Well, let's take a break and then we'll shift gears a little bit, but we're going to keep driving down this road that will take us to that final destination, control.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.